The man, the myth, the legend.
I love the beard, man.
Thank you. Letting it grow.
I
Hair's
love the beard, my friend. You look good.
Thank you.
How are you?
Well, I'm good. I've been in California for almost 2 weeks now. Just been laying low here.
Right.
I actually got to connect with Marshall and Tyree on the financial literacy side of things, and
Fantastic.
I'm I'm happy. I'm in a really good place mentally, physically, emotionally, man.
Glad to hear it, man. That's great. Where are you? Where in Cali are you?
Tarzana
Where is that?
in the valley.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, it's right next to I think Bel Air.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful, my friend. Yeah, I love the look. It's great to catch up with you.
Likewise, man. Tell me how are you? How are things going?
I'm amazing, man. Things are busy. We are rocking and rolling on a lot of different levels. So some things slowed down. Some things have really exponentially picked up, which is exciting. Healthy, happy. Everybody's doing well. So things have been great. It's for everybody. It's been a really interesting last 5 months. But so many of the things that we're up to now are just we've been blessed. So yeah, I'm glad that that's been the case for so many of the people that we're doing things with.
Love it. So I'll
Yeah,
definitely get right into it as well with the questions for this book interview.
yeah. Tell me about it and let me know, man. Love to be a part of it.
Yeah. So with the book, what I'm working on is making it a series. I want to make a book focused on fitness for anybody looking to get into shape. Another book for trainers. Dude, I know that's never an issue. You train your mind really well. Are you still doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu?
Hour and a half this morning with UFC Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm still rocking and rolling. My goal is to win a medal by the time I'm 50. So that gives me a year and a half to set things up to be hopefully a world champion. We'll see.
I love it. Dude, I
Yeah,
love
man.
about you. So just fucking let me know how I can
Yeah.
help. Be
Yeah, for sure.
now, yeah. So that's two of the books, and then one book would be for entrepreneurs, and just getting to it all within the mind, fitness, routine. So I'm interviewing great people from different walks of life to just ask questions on your personal journey with fitness, with your insight and gems that you've learned. So with that being said,
Yeah.
where are you now with your fitness mentally, physically?
Man, I am at a point in my life where I've never been. I tell people that the 48-year-old version of me would beat the hell out of the 38 or 28-year-old version of me. I'm just like sharper than ever. So, I think for a long time, for me anyway, I focused too much on the physical and not enough on the mental and the spiritual. And so over the last 10 years, I've really learned through a lot of the meditation, you see the beads and the practices that I do. I use that in conjunction with my physical workout. So through the meditation, through the mindfulness exercises that I do, through everything that I'm involved with, incorporating that into jujitsu or into my workouts, into my diets, into my fasting, into my breathing exercises, it's made me better all the way around. So I've incorporated a program that starts with, when I wake up in the morning, beginning with a morning routine, meditation, going through my exercises, some stretching, some sun salutations, right into some cardio, and throughout the day with what I eat, how I breathe, what I do, how I work out, when I work out, with whom I work out. It's really resulted in an incredible outcome. So look, 7 years ago, I started training jujitsu. I'd always been active. I'd always been involved in the martial arts. I'd always worked out, but I'm 5'6". I was 197 pounds. At 5'6", you should not be 197 pounds. I'm walking around today, man, at 161 pounds. I'm faster and stronger and more flexible than ever before. And, I didn't lose the weight to go and compete in the lower weight class when I'm in tournaments and things. I did it because I realized that society's definition of what we should look like and what's normal, what's healthy, is not true, man. When you go around the world and you realize how people around the world look in terms of like what being healthy means, being fit means, there's a really different definition of it in different parts of the world. I was in France a few years ago, and they had a cold spell. So I put on I was buying a jacket, leather jacket, and I was trying on clothes. By the time I got to the jacket that fits me, I was in a 3XL.
Holy
And
shit.
the sleeves were, yeah, the sleeves were 5 inches too long, but I realized that my chest and my stomach and my build just were disproportionate to what they should have been in terms of my weight and my structure for my height. And so I went back, man, and I started really thinking about what optimum health meant for me. And that, you know, that just coincided with the spiritual journey I was on. So the jujitsu is obviously in conjunction with, like I said, the meditation. I really became a huge proponent of intermittent fasting. That's been a way of life for me for 3 years now. I'll never go back. I have about 24 people that I coach regularly. I get texts and emails and things all day long. You know, New York City detectives who are down 75 pounds. They'll never go back. You know, professional fighters who like just, they've changed their lives. And so incorporating those kinds of things with diet, I'm almost primarily plant-based now, almost exclusively. We do deviate with a little seafood or fish here and there, but I expect that ultimately I'll probably be off of those too. And so it's just about taking little things that seem to work for other people, really digesting, pardon the pun, what they are, figuring out whether or not that's something I can include into my life, incorporate into my routine. And then once I see that it's something that I can, then doing it. So it's going from like one thing, which is what fitness is, right? If you can do a certain amount of push-ups or pull-ups, you do that. And if you do that for long enough, then you'll be able to do that much more the following week and month and year. Well, it's the same thing with health. Like if I can do this, if I can do this kind of a workout, I'll do this. But what if I can also maybe restrict my diet to this while I do that? And then what if I can also work on my mentally? What if I can work on my emotional state as much as my physical? And so I incorporate, like I said, the breathing and the meditation and different things. And it's just about putting a series of routines in effect that work for you. So that's what I've been up to.
Sure, it's like adding one thing a week or every 2 weeks so that one, it doesn't get too overwhelming, and two, you're continuing to add on and taking that holistic approach of life, which is so important, especially now today with so many distractions.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, man. You use the perfect word, distraction, right? I like to use the word noise, and so much noise all around us, and like, you know, big business now in noise cancellation, earphones and earbuds and things that can cut it out. So if we can learn how to do that, so we really only hear the music that's inside of us, life becomes so much more enjoyable. And it's hard to do that, man. I've literally gotten 4 texts in the last 5 minutes while we're talking, and I'm sure I have just as many emails and phone calls that'll happen. So we have to be able to cut those things out and focus in on what's important. And when you do, what you start to hear, what you start to listen to is your body and your mind. And most people don't like you know, Ralph, they don't listen. Your body tells you what it needs and what it doesn't need, and you know, your mind's obviously a part of that. And you know, so many people are caught up in the noise and what they're doing. Oh, my stomach hurts. They don't realize, like, don't stop and think, what did I just eat an hour ago that's causing me to feel this way? What shouldn't I have? Rather, it's just like grab some Tums or whatever it is and throw them down. I keep going. I got to get to the next meeting. You could stop for a little bit and just pay attention to what your body's telling you and respond accordingly. You start to see amazing, amazing results. And so for me, being part of corporate America, the professional world, coming as, you know, a professional consultant, executive trainer, and entrepreneur, lawyer, etc. Now that a lot of the guys and girls that I work with and around are seeing it, they start asking you like, what's going on, man? Your hair looks healthy. Your skin looks healthy. You lost a lot of weight. You seem like you're in amazing shape. You always seem like you're in a great mood. What are you doing? I want to do the same thing. And so it becomes contagious. So, you know, those are the things that I'm doing. And initially, I think when people see you doing things that they're not used to, they either laugh at you or they just don't pay attention. And then when they see it a few months later and it's had a really great effect on you, then they say, hey, what was that thing you were telling me about a few months ago? One of those things that I think is really important, especially for what you're doing, is something called Japanese water therapy. I don't know. Are you familiar with that? Have you come across it yet?
When you speak to the water,
Well,
or
that's part of it. Just drinking it, when you drink it, how much, and all of that. So the
I,
speaking is part of Dr. Emoto's protocol. Yeah.
I know that.
Okay, so this is something different. So I actually incorporate, and now I have a lot of people like Dave Meltzer and others are also doing the same thing. But what I did was I took the concept of Japanese water therapy, and here's what it is. In the morning, when you wake up, starting tomorrow and every day for the rest of your life, take a glass of water, room temperature, and drink it. You want to drink 1 ounce of water for every 10 ounces or every 10 pounds, excuse me, of body fat, body weight. So 1 ounce of water for every 10 pounds of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you want 20 ounces of water. If you weigh 150 pounds, you want 15 ounces of water. 160 pounds, 16-ounce glass of water. Drink that water as quickly as you can. Don't chug it like a beer in college, but drink it pretty quickly. And they don't have anything, nothing, no vitamins, no supplements, no coffee, no bagels, no anything for at least 45 minutes. And what you do is by doing that, you hydrate on a molecular level. We are completely dehydrated in this country, and people, you see them walking around with giant things, drinking throughout the day. And that's all great, but chances are you had a snack or a meal in between. And when you're drinking all of that, most of that gets absorbed by what's in your stomach. When you wake up in the morning and the first thing that you do is you consume this water and don't have anything else for 45 minutes, it gets into the cells the way that it needs to get into them, unencumbered. And by the way, brush your teeth right after you do that and don't do anything else. So the reason for that is, a lot of people don't realize heart attacks are caused by plaque in your system. Plaque, you release plaque when you brush your teeth. Once you've drank all this water, now you have constant supply. You brush your teeth, you reduce the likelihood that that plaque's going to affect anything. That's an aside. But the point is, brother, and I want you to start doing this, try it, and let me know, talk to me 60 days from now. Let me know how you feel about it. By doing this, you'll see an incredible result. And so when I started doing it years ago, I tested it on myself with jiu-jitsu. And I knew that no matter what I'd done before training, if I drank a lot of water, by the time I got off the mats, I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. I got to guzzle. I'm just dying of thirst because you sweat it all out. Almost immediately after doing this, I would come off the mats and like, man, I'm okay. I mean, I'm thirsty, but I'm okay. I'm properly hydrated. So that's what I do. So it's been a big part of my regimen for a while now. And yes, I take it to the next level. So I started doing what Dr. Emoto discovered. And I said, because I'm a big affirmation guy, I'm a big frequency guy. I believe in the power of us and the universe together in harmony. And it's all vibration. So you know about Emoto, so I don't want to bore anybody with those details. But now when I take my water in the morning, I start thinking on a very positive level about what I want to achieve for the day. What energy do I want to put out there? Because we're over 70% water. My thoughts are energy. When I put that energy, we see through Emoto studies, the effect that it has on that water. Now, putting those emotions, those thoughts, that energy into that water, then I'm drinking it, physically, literally making it a part of me, and then going out into the world with my day. And so I started doing that. We started working with some professional NHL players, and everybody coming back like, man, this really is helping me. Now, I don't know, to the extent, I don't have anything to verify it other than all of Emoto's studies, but I can tell you in from a comparison of how I felt prior to doing it versus how I feel afterwards, remarkable difference, life-changing difference. So that's a big part of my routine in the morning. So I highly recommend that.
I tell you, there's this vegan guy I follow on Instagram, and I bought his meal plan. Haven't done the vegan meal plan yet. What I did add
Uh-huh.
is drinking 4 cups of water, so in the morning before anything else.
There
So
you go.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I want to add the emotos of talking to the water because after I drink the 4 cups of water, I
You're
meditate,
good.
and I go right into just what I need to do, and my body cools off on its own. I just feel energized, and my brain it feels good because at the end of the day, same thing. We are 70% made up of water, so let's really make sure that we have enough. If people tell me, and during my consultations, I would use a Poland Spring bottle as a measure. I'm like, how many of these bottles do you drink a day? People on average would say 4 to 5, thinking that was a ton. I drink
Yeah.
4 in the morning now, so
Yeah.
it's something that it's ignorance, and being able to spread the knowledge in a way that people feel comfortable to hear it. I think that's definitely something that is the mission for me, and being able to make sure that people understand, all right, cool, this guy is not
Yeah.
always sell but just educate. uh
Yeah. And I
well,
would tell you with the Emoto stuff in the morning, you can get to the point where you don't even have to talk to your glass, right? Definitely your family will be walking through like, is he talking to? That's it, man. The thoughts are energy, and that energy goes through. So yeah, so good stuff. And the final thing that I've done probably since the last time we spoke. So for the last year now is fasting. So not just intermittent fasting. I don't know if you follow me on social media, but I just had some things up there recently where I incorporate now water fasting, where we don't have anything but water for either a 24-hour period or most recently, a couple times a year now, I have groups doing 72-hour water fasts. So nothing, zero intake other than water for 72 hours. That's really amazing. And so all of the studies now, like, man, we grow up in a society where it's like, you need 3 meals a day. You need this. No, you don't, man. We grew up in a society where we are intentionally, I believe, overfed so that we can be overweight, so that we can be medicated back to quote unquote health. That's not the way to live. So the way to live is the way that our bodies have been designed through evolution, 200,000 years or so. And fasting is a big part of it. Like being able to go to a refrigerator and like open it and have food anytime you want it. That's a relatively new concept. Like that's only in the last 100 years or so. Prior to that, man, you would wake up and you'd have to go find your food, right? We were nomadic. If you could catch something and cook it, great, then you ate. Or if you found berries or fruit or nuts or things like that, then you ate. Sometimes you didn't. So our bodies, science is now showing, quote unquote, science is now showing that our bodies are designed to go through periods of fasting, and that when we do, certain things are released that are only released when you're in a fasting period. That you go through this cellular autophagy and through ketosis and different things that help your body regenerate and build back a lot of the new cells, regeneration that you don't get unless you go through these periods of quote unquote starvation. So 3-day water fast, man, is pretty spectacular. You feel great when you come out of it.
You know Walter Powell. He
Boy, do I.
he motivated me to do it. I think a month or two into the quarantine, and yeah, I got to really tie into just hearing people cooking in the house. I'm like, okay, that's just making me hungry because this is just a like a
Yeah,
Pavlov
yeah.
type of thing. I felt phenomenal after, and I even what I did after that first fast, which I need to do again. I wanted to see how bad sugar is for you. So
Mm-hmm.
a week ago, I had had my first toaster strudel ever in my life. So I'm like,
Oh, you
holy,
did.
it's amazing, right? So I decided to make one right after my fast was done, and I wanted to. I had two of them, dude. I couldn't even make a fist. Like when I say I could
Yeah.
only go like this, and I couldn't squeeze any of the muscles, it just inhibited any type of action potential within the body. Where I'm just like, wow, the shit that we're being fed, the where we're being
No.
told, it's horrible
Bro,
for.
it's not food. Yeah, what I like to say is they're food-like substances that we're fed in this country. It's not food. It's like if you tried to feed your grandparents half of the things we eat, they would starve because they wouldn't eat it. And they say if you want to shop, go around the perimeter of the grocery store. That's where you're going to find the food. Everything on the inside are food-like substances. That's not the food. And nutritionally, man, we're depleted. Like everything, I'm sure that you're going to include in some of these books and things. We need supplements. You need a multivitamin. You need different things. You need vitamin D because none of us are outside in the sun. At least here on the East Coast. Maybe they're in Cali. People are, but most people spend most of their time in work environments. They don't get the 20 minutes of sun that we need a day. So, and the food grows in soil that is really nutritionally deficient. So when you do the nutrition, look at the indexes of what we're served, even if it is something healthy like a real food, like a fruit or a vegetable or a meat. When you look at the actual nutrition that's in there, it's really sad because our bodies don't get. That's in my opinion, in large part, why we're as sick as we are. We don't get the vitamins and more importantly, the minerals that we
I
need. And that's
agree.
another thing I love to focus on more is, a big part of my regimen is not just focusing. Everything that we know and hear typically is focused on vitamins. Minerals are essential, man, and not enough of us focus on that. So I think it's really important to look into the minerals that our bodies needs and make sure that we get them.
It's like you kept saying, the more optimally we become, if we're hitting it, I always think about this. If we're hitting it on a micro level, cellularly, we're thinking about the actual equations that go into having an outcome as us squeezing our muscles, us moving, us being able to do things as efficient as possible, it's limitless. Now we're just able to do what we need to do to stay alive as a species, to then focus on bigger projects where we're not thinking about, oh, my stomach is killing me because I had a food that is going to take longer to break down through my body enzymatically, just because of the fact that it has preservatives or it has added things like sugar. It's just, it doesn't make sense. The body's doing more work than it needs to. It doesn't want to. It even tells us, but we don't listen until we're on a surgery.
Yeah, that's it. You get the wake up call. And like I tell people, a lot of people that I coach or that I work with, my goal isn't to survive. My goal is to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that I work with, I want them to thrive. Like if you're just doing enough, if you're eating enough and working out enough to feel okay to get through your day, you're not doing enough. Like you should really, like when I wake up in the morning, man, by the time I come out of my morning routines, I'm on fire. I am literally shot out of a cannon, and I'm that way all day until I hit the pillow at night. And I wake up the next day. And this isn't just a thing because I drank a lot of coffee today, because I don't do that, by the way. This is something that is the result of a way of life, by putting all of those pieces together to form the puzzle that is that lifestyle. So it's ongoing for years. And you want to tell people that that's the key, man. If you could put these things in place so that every day you wake up feeling great, feeling invigorated, feeling healthy, feeling happy, feeling abundant, feeling productive, what would you do to achieve that? And unfortunately, most people aren't willing to put into it what they need to. But the ones that are, they get the results, man. And it's life changing. It really is. And then you do get other people that slowly and gradually come around. Like I said, you get those calls or those texts. Hey, man, that thing you were talking about 6 months ago, I think I'm ready to take the plunge. What do you want to do?
And that's when you know they're like, okay, cool. You know, you're starting to affect people around you by just being yourself and really focusing on yourself. So it can
That's
be
it, man. Plant the seeds and that's it. They see it. And that's the result. Like when I really started meditating a lot, because now I'm doing 20 minutes a day, twice a day for years and years now.
game changer.
They game changer, game changer. Um, they said initially you won't see the difference, other people will, and it was true. Like in the first month, I knew I had some pretty amazing experiences while I was meditating, but I didn't see the changes in me, in my external life outside of meditation. In the next month, 2 months, 3 months, while I had been doing it, people started to point it out. My wife, my coworkers, my business partners, just, hey man, like that was different. You seem like you're approached it in a different way, or better spirits, or this and that. And all of a sudden, people start recognizing a difference in you. It's pretty cool. So now it's just how I exist. I can't imagine. I tell people, if you told me 10 years ago that I'd be meditating and telling people about mindfulness and meditation, I would have been the guy spitting beer through my nose, laughing at you.
Like, what the fuck
Um,
are you talking about?
they're like, what are you talking about, man? There's no way. That's so, get out of here. Now I tell people like, hey man, if you want to go to an amazing, and I told Walter, you want to go to an amazing ashram, like a retreat down in the Bahamas, world class, let me know. Let's go. So I tell people about these different opportunities and activities. And that's a big one, right? We could talk about this all day in terms of health and fitness and what people should do. It's making those choices. People go on vacation. And you decide where you're going to go and what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. A lot of times I realized, like a lot of times looking back at those decisions that I made, they weren't very conducive to like who I wanted to become, right? I was staying at amazing places all over the world, but looking at what I was eating, looking at what I was drinking, how I was living while I was there, who I was doing it with, and those were all counterproductive to how I wanted to exist. So when I go back and re-engineer it, it's also a matter of making choices that coincide with this lifestyle that you want to be a part of. That's really important. It's like I tell people, if you want to eat healthy, have healthy things in your house. Like the worst thing you can do is have a big box of cookies, because you're going to end up eating them, right? You have to have some tremendous willpower not to. So it starts with the thought process. What am I going to buy? What am I going to have in my house? Because that's going to dictate what I'm going to eat. Same thing applies when I go on vacation. Where am I going? Who am I going with? What do I want to do while I'm there? What's my purpose in going there? And making decisions based on that. So we do these ashrams, so we do these retreats, so we, different things focused on. I bought a motorhome now. It
Oh,
was either
that.
going to be a crazy, yeah, it was going to be a crazy exotic car, or a motorhome. And a bunch of my friends and coworkers, they were all like, "Do the Lambo, do the Lambo," um, and I did the motorhome. And man, it is the best choice I ever made. So my wife and I now, weekends come or whenever we want to, we just disappear into the woods, to the mountains, to lakes, to the beaches, to national and state parks. And all of this, what I'm saying, has been incredibly helpful and balancing for me is getting back into nature. And that's so much that goes like with what I was talking about, not getting enough sun. We're wired to be a part of nature. This man-made so-called modern society that we live in is so opposite of how we are designed, how we're anatomically, physiologically, biologically constructed to live. It's not natural. There's nothing natural about concrete jungles that we live in. So it's really important to get back into nature, to get back in touch. Like everything's electromagnetic. We're electric creatures. We're all electric, right? We run off of electricity. So does the earth. So does the universe. When you get back into nature, you can feel the difference, man, when you've come back after a couple of days away. That's why people love the beach. They take their shoes off and they walk on the sand. You're literally grounding yourself. You're recalibrating the electrical signals in your body. Same happens when you walk in streams and rivers and lakes and all of that stuff. And so for me, yeah, the motorhome is incredible. Highly recommended to anybody if you have the opportunity to get out there and get into nature however you can. It's really important for health and fitness.
Love it. I remember the first time I went hiking by myself, where this was upstate New York in what's it called, Sloatsburg,
Love it up there.
dude.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's Harriman Park, yeah, Harriman Mountain or
Harriman Park, Frank E. Harriman. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
amazing.
dude, I get there and I just remember being alone. I felt like I was in a movie where I felt myself getting out of my body and just taking in me standing in nature and just feeling everything around me and feeling this vastness where it's just like this feels great. And at that point, I just started running. I just felt free as hell, and I was just like I stopped running once I realized it got dark out and I heard something where I was just like, you know what? I'm too far. Let me go back home. But it was powerful.
That's awesome, man. I love that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's really important. And man, they're just little choices that I've made. That some people will agree with. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about this. Some will agree, some will disagree. With like mowing my lawn, I decided when the pandemic broke out, I was going to start mowing my lawn. Right, we're all home, and everybody's got landscapers, and that's great. But I said it's an opportunity for me to get outside and do some physical activity. I have a pretty big lawn, and be a part of the outdoors while I have the opportunity. And then as soon as I get back to quote unquote normal, I'll stop doing it. I'm still doing it, man. I still enjoy it. So using those opportunities, I tell people take those little opportunities to get in some physical activity when you can. Park the car a little further in the parking lot when you go to the store. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. You've heard all of these things, but there's little choices, man. They make a difference when you're doing 200 or 300 days a year, over a decade. You see a difference. You could look at somebody who's parked at the back end of the parking lot versus up front, and somebody who's taken the stairs versus the elevator for a decade. You see a difference in those people.
It's definitely like the saying, slow is smooth, smooth. Yes, yes, slow is smooth, something like that. Just moving slower and being able to execute because now you're in alignment with the moment. You're in alignment with yourself. It just helps with
Yeah,
everything. I
helps
have
with everything, man. And it affects your product. Like a lot of the people we work with, they want to be successful, and they judge success based on money. How many commas do you have in your bank account or bank accounts? And money's a big part of it, but I feel really blessed because if financially I'm doing fine. I mean, everything's fantastic. But I feel really blessed because I recognized early on, before I had one of those signals that I think a lot of people wait until they get, whether it's a heart attack or a stroke or something, to realize that health is the ultimate wealth. I don't care how much money you have. I work with a lot of billionaires, and when somebody can't get out of bed, or they had a stroke and so their right side is drooping, or they're afraid of a heart attack, or can't enjoy something because they have type 2 diabetes, it doesn't matter how much money you have. So your health is your ultimate wealth, and we just see an incredible um, offset in our society with people that think that money is the source of happiness and success, and I'm here to tell people that it's not, man. Health, being healthy, that's it. And then everything else comes from it, by the way. So you be productive at work, you want other people around you to to attract those kinds of opportunities and individuals that are successful. Be healthy. Like, we perceive that stuff. I look at you and say, man, this guy's in good shape. This guy's healthy. This is somebody I want to work with, somebody I want to be around. He put some thought into this. So that holds true. It says a lot about your character, your work ethic, and different things.
I love it. It's something that, one, unfortunately, you know, when you mentioned just the whole way America mainly is, where it has to do with overfeeding us, giving us these treatments. It's big business, which is so unfortunate, because if you could just look at the other side of the spectrum, all right, let's focus on health. You'll focus on the people that make all of these big businesses run, do better
Yeah.
and thrive. If you take care of the people, everything else will be fine. So
Yeah.
I got two more questions for you, and then I know you got to go.
Shoot.
Looking at your life, there's definitely sequences of moments, series of moments that will come to mind when you think about improving from an old mindset to a new mindset. What came to mind when I say that these moments? What moment comes to mind when you think of what took you from an old mindset to a new mindset to improve your quality of life? Doesn't have to be fitness
Yeah.
related, it could be whatever.
Yeah. It was defining happiness for myself. And so I literally, man, about a decade, just under a decade ago, was sitting around in a huge house that I built, fancy cars in the garage and all of that stuff, and wasn't happy, and didn't make sense. Bank accounts full, things are paid for, beautiful home, beautiful wife, beautiful cars, boats, beach houses, the whole thing. Like, what's going on? So it required me to go back and re-engineer my entire life and figure out, hold on, what happened? Like, I did everything everybody in society told me I was supposed to do in order to be happy. Went to school, went to law school, became a lawyer, became an entrepreneur, opened a ton of businesses, did a bunch of things, made a lot of money. Why am I not happy? Something's missing. And so I went back and I realized that my physical, my emotional, and my spiritual health were not there. And so I began working on them. And those were things, man, this is the most important thing I think I'm going to say today. Those are things that I never learned in school. I went to some really good schools, brother. And that's why I'm so excited for you to be doing this. And that's why, like, when you told me about it, jumped on it, because I think it's so important, because you'll never learn these things in school. You'll learn, like, I was just having this conversation with some of my staff at lunch today. We have teenagers who know how to do trigonometry, but they can't read the back of a food carton and tell you what's in their food or how they understand it, or what a protein is versus a carbohydrate, different things that are important for health. So I went back and I began really doing a critical and radical self inventory with regard to who I wanted to be, what I thought was missing, and began implementing all of these things that we talked about today. And so the difference between the new me and the old me is substantial, significant. Two physically, emotionally, and spiritually different people. One now that is just vibrating on such a high frequency, man, that I just feel it. I know other people around me feel it when we're together, versus this other person who was the person that I think a lot of people are. Happy, fancy cars, fancy clothes, a lot of money in the bank, but kind of like something's like, it's
Something's
not
missing.
great. Something's missing. So yeah, that's the difference, the major difference for me and how it happened.
Love it. Then last question to wrap things up. What would be the one, I think you might have said it, what would be the one gem you would like to leave people with?
Listen to your mind and your body, right? really listen to your mind and your body and try to cut out all of the distractions. And those distractions are everything that I talked about today, from money to what tastes good to the type of booze you should drink to where you should go on vacation because this is a cool place and these are the cool people. Like, there are other things that probably resonate with you that you're not even aware of because you haven't taken the time to stop and listen. And you start to discover this whole higher self that is really a part of you. Like, what we think of as reality on a conscious level is just such a small part of what exists in the subconscious, like what's really happening with us and around us. If you take the time through meditation, through breathing, through proper diet, through proper rest, to listen to your mind and your body and your heart, start to tap into your higher self, you become this version of you that's limitless, man. Really, like, has an amazing potential that you're yourself and everybody around you will be just shocked by.
I tell you, it's something even for myself. I even well with meditating, I've been able to get into my subconscious mind where I've had visualizations of me brooming my subconscious mind and having
Love that.
a black figure that I've seen in dreams that has led me into a path that I couldn't have even thought I would be in.
Yeah.
Where I meet the black figure. I talked to a friend of mine at an event, and who's very spiritual, and she's just like, "Hey, next time you see this black figure, ask them person to remove their hood." And I did, and it was just a more refined, mature version of me. And at
Yeah,
that
man.
moment, I knew the meditation was finishing up. I just said, "I'll be back." I haven't seen the myself again, but it's more so I'm becoming that version, which is just power
Exactly. It's awesome.
blessing.
Yeah, man. I love that. That's awesome.
Dude, Mike, thank you so much for your time, brother.
Thank you, man. Great seeing you.
Likewise, keep me posted with these retreats whenever the world opens up again. I would love to be a part of them.
Absolutely. Love to, man. And anything you do, please don't hesitate to reach out. Love everything you're up to.
Thank you. We'll do.
Enjoy, brother. Thank you.